Well, hello, all my yoga friends. That's like the cheesiest entrance ever. Welcome to Got Yoga. I'm Chris Scott, and in today's video, we are talking how to handstand yoga, episode 4, where we are going to talk about the hollow body hold. Or in yoga, it's more considered hugging into the midline. So a lot of times in handstand, you find people having this like kind of banana back in their handstand. And so there's not a lot of a core awareness happening there, and you're taking all that into your low back. So that's not great. So we're gonna hug everything in the midline today and learn some exercises to strengthen those areas we need to strengthen for our handstand. If you haven't seen episode 1, 2, and 3, they all go in order, and they will help this video make more sense. So go ahead and watch those first. Phoebe's gonna wander around here. Don't eat that. Grab a block and find your way onto the floor or your mat and lay on your back. First, we're going to talk about putting on our corset or our Spanx, which is part of the hollow body. So we're hugging into the midline. Lay on your back. You have your feet planted down, and just have the banana back. So flare your ribs, arch your back. You've got your lower back off the ground here. This is what you don't want. And then hug it all in. So what you do is you think about your lower ribs here and have them start to draw in and together towards your spine. So flaring and then hugging. It's like a corset, and you're softening the lower ribs, and they start to kind of tie together. They don't really tie together, but you imagine that they're tying together like a corset. And that's what you need for that hollow body. It starts to turn on all those abdominal muscles that you need for your hollow body. And then grab your block and reach it overhead. Reach the block away from you. Hover it above the ground. And you'll start to notice that it's a lot harder to keep that core awareness. So tie your corset on, and that'll connect your lower back to the ground, and you want to keep that lower back connected to the ground while you hover your block overhead. So you got to keep your corset on in your handstand for your hollow body. Let's make it harder. Go ahead and bend your knees and put your feet up into the air. And from here, you can leave your hands reaching overhead with your block, or if you find it more helpful, you can bring your hands onto your lower ribs and make sure everything's hugging into the midline and the low back is connected to the ground. Start to draw your feet away from you, so you start lowering them to the ground. Continue to breathe while you're doing all this. Don't forget that. And you'll notice, oh gosh, it's so hard. Keep your low back connected to the ground. Keep that corset on. Keep hovering here. Maybe you go a little bit lower. So find that stability in the torso, and you've really got to, you can lower the feet down here now if you want, ingrain that into your memory so that we can keep that when we go into our handstand. And come into a downward facing dog. So again, pressing into that index finger and that thumb knuckle, having the index finger pointed forward, hands shoulder distance, and you're in your downward facing dog. You've got your inner upper arms turning towards your face while you really press the ground away. And then you're going to take a block. Sorry, I forgot about this part. Grab your block and squeeze it between your inner thighs. So this is what you want happening, not in your usual down dog, but for your handstand down dog here, you want to squeeze that block between your inner thighs. And you'll notice that starts to kind of turn on your abdominals a little bit too. Let's go ahead and inhale into a high plank here with the shoulders over the wrists. And you'll get a better feeling of the squeezing of the block between the inner thighs. Continuing to keep that hand, shoulder, arm awareness that you need for your handstand. With the shoulders over the wrists. And then don't let that belly sag. Put your corset on. Have those lower ribs start to draw in and down. And you got everything hugging into the midline. You're ready for your hollow body handstand. Go ahead and lower your knees down. Okay,
Now we're gonna take this to a wall and stand up. So grab your block, bring the backs of your heels to a wall. Can you see all of me? So I'm gonna make this my wall here. Or actually, imagine that the backs of my heels are on a wall right here. Okay. So plant your feet together. Press into your big toes. Have the backs of your heels against the wall. Have your bum against the wall. And squeeze something between your inner thighs. When you do that, when you squeeze that imaginary block between your thighs, you notice your hip points are going to start to, these hip points right here, they're going to start to, instead of pointing down, maybe that's sometimes the tendency, they're going to shoot straight forward. So you got level hips. Put your corset on, all right? So soften those lower ribs, turning on the abdominals. Take your block and reach it overhead. Press the block away, squeeze into the pinkies, and you are in your hollow body hold right here for your handstand. So you'll notice that when you flare, your back doesn't connect to the wall as much as when you squeeze something between your inner thighs, put your corset on, then maybe part of your upper back starts to connect to the wall as well. You can also do this laying on the ground, hovering the feet and the hands overhead, still trying to keep that lower back connected to the ground. So these are all kinds of things to give you that idea of hugging everything into the midline. And if you want some abdominal exercises to help you, if you want some abdominal exercises to help you strengthen the center here, your core, I do have a 5-minute core burn workout, and I also have a 15-minute core on my YouTube channel. So check that out, and I will see you next week, where I don't know what we're doing yet, but you're gonna learn something new for your handstand. Say bye, Dee. Say bye. Oh, don't growl at me. Say bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Bye. See you later.